viewers, this is the Saturday edition of 6 Stories at 6 with me, Rakshita Mishra. Viewers, the war over Waqf is witnessing no end. The calls for anti-CAA, anti-NRC-like protests on the streets are being given. Not just that, the opposition parties are moving court one after the other. We'll get you updates on that. Also, the other big story that we're tracking for you is in connection with the Judge Cash scandal. Now, Justice Varma has allegedly been administered oath in secrecy at his parent court. More on that also on the show. In Karnataka, a fierce political face-off has broken out over the suicide of a Karnataka BJP worker who has made some scathing allegations in his suicide note. Also, we'll tell you how India has issued a stern warning to Pakistan as the BSF held a flag meeting with park rangers lodging a strong protest. Also, how Sri Lanka gave a rare grand gesture, a rare grand welcome to the Prime Minister, and the agreements that have also been signed with trade and defense being in focus. And finally, Republic TV brings you ground report from Tamil Nadu, where tomorrow, India's first ever vertical lift bridge will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister. Now, first we start with the war over Waqf. Ladies and gentlemen, the bill has been passed by the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha after a marathon debate in both the houses. However, the parliament's nod has triggered protests. It has not gone down well with the opposition parties, and many of the Muslim groups, including the Muslim Personal Law Board, have given calls for anarchy on the streets. The legal and the political battle over the Waqf bill has now reached the Supreme Court. The AIMIM, the Congress Party, and now the Aam Aadmi Party have moved the apex court. The Uttar Pradesh government, meanwhile, says that it would seize the properties which have been illegally declared as Waqf properties in the state. It's a big warning, a big statement that has been given by Yogi Adityanath. Here's the report.
The nation is celebrating the passage of the historic Waqf bill in the parliament. But the opposition continues to fearmonger and mislead the people of the minority community. Now, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board has sought an urgent appointment with President Murmu to discuss over the bill before her assent to it. Meanwhile, the political and legal battle over Waqf has reached the Supreme Court. After AIMIM, AIMPLB, now AAP is knocking on the doors of the apex court, challenging the passage of the Waqf bill. AAP leader and Delhi Waqf Board chairman Aminatullah Khan moved Supreme Court, saying that the bill curtails religious and cultural autonomy of Muslims and undermines minority rights. Meanwhile, UP CM Yogi Adityanath weighed in and said that no one can rob Waqf land in the name of Waqf Board.
परसों ही देश की संसद में वक्फ बोर्ड संशोधन अधिनियम पारित किया है। अब वक्फ बोर्ड के नाम पर जमीनों पर कोई डकैती नहीं डाल सकता है, लूट खसोट नहीं हो सकती है, चौराहे की जमीनों पर कोई कब्जा नहीं कर सकता है। अब सार्वजनिक संपत्ति जो भी होगी, जो राजस्व की भूमि होगी, उसका उपयोग विद्यालय बनाने में, चिकित्सालय बनाने में, कॉलेज बनाने में, मेडिकल कॉलेज बनाने में, ऐसे बैराज बनाने में, गरीबों के लिए आवास बनाने में ही उसका उपयोग होगा।
Several political leaders are backing and hailing Waqf bill passage in the parliament. Listen in.
मैं मानता हूं कि आने वाले समय में गरीब मुसलमानों के हित में ये विधेयक रहेगा और समय इसको साबित भी करेगा। क्यों कोई ये नुकसान करना चाहेगा, बताइए ना मुझे। अगर इतना ही स्पष्ट है, अगर विपक्ष इतना ही स्पष्ट है कि भैया 17% का हम लोग को नुकसान होगा, हम लोग क्यों करना चाहें? हम लोग चाहते हैं कि समाज में बराबरी का एक माहौल बने।
आप जिस उम्मीद से आए हैं वो उम्मीद पारित हो चुका है। अब वो वक्फ संशोधन बिल नाम नहीं है, अब उस बिल का नाम उम्मीद है। तो उम्मीद अगर किसी का नाम सरकार रखती है तो इससे साफ कि उससे उम्मीदें पूरी होंगी। और उम्मीदें किसकी? जो वक्फ के प्रॉपर्टी का फ़ायदा गरीब को, मुसलमान को, पसमानदा को, महिलाओं को मिलना चाहिए था, जो अभी तक नहीं मिल रहा था। अभी तक उसका फ़ायदा आपने देखा कि वक्फ की जायदाद रेलवे और सेना के बाद तीसरे नंबर पे है, लेकिन क्या कोई एक मेडिकल कॉलेज, कोई इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज, कोई यूनिवर्सिटी देखा? कहीं गरीबों की आपने कहीं मदद देखी एजुकेशन में, हेल्थ में? तो आज ये उम्मीद जो बिल पास हुआ है, ये लाखों लोगों, करोड़ों लोगों के लिए उम्मीद बन कर के आया है।
Earlier, Kerala Congress leader Benny Peruvanthanam quit the Grand Old Party over its stance on the Waqf bill. The opposition is still not able to digest the clearance of Waqf bill in the parliament. Listen in.
अभी तो ये बिल मैं समझता हूँ जब तक राष्ट्रपति की असेंट ना हो जाए, राष्ट्रपति के यहाँ इसको स्वीकृति ना मिल जाए, फिर नोटिफिकेशन ना हो जाए, गजट ना आ जाए, तब तक तो ये कानून का रूप इसने लिया नहीं। फिर हमारे सारे विकल्प खुले, हम जनता की अदालत में भी जाएंगे, सर्वोच्च न्यायालय भी जाएंगे, हम इससे इनकार नहीं करते हैं। हम सारी संभावनाओं को प्रयोग करेंगे क्योंकि ये देश की एकता और अखंडता को प्रभावित करता है।
The next course of action is the presidential assent for the bill, following which it will turn into a law.
Right now, senior advocate Subhash joins us live on the broadcast. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on Republic TV. But we see one after the other, opposition parties are moving the Supreme Court against the Waqf Amendment Bill. Not the first time we've seen that a move by centre and that a bill that has been passed by both houses being challenged by the opposition parties. But this time, in the case of Waqf, what scope do you see? How difficult or how easy? How challenging, rather, I would say, would be for the Supreme Court to act on it, to maybe reverse the bill or withdraw the bill? What is the next, what is the scope in this case?
So the challenge is, see, ultimately in the, we must understand that enacting a law is the function not of the courts, not of our courts, but that of the parliament. And that is what they have done. And whatever the government, whatever hurdle it had possibly in its way, those hurdles have been taken care of. Both the houses of parliament have passed the bill. Now, it will ultimately be placed before these are going to be the formalities of placing it before the President of India for President's assent. And then ultimately, if it is gazetted, it becomes an act. This is how it happens. But nevertheless, challenge in the Supreme Court, please try to understand how it happened. 1950 to 1968 or 69, we have had a stream of challenges to different legislation from time to time. And all these matters, or most of these matters, were placed before the Constitution bench, 5 judges or 7 judges bench. And the law is well settled that there is, first of all, whenever there is a challenge to constitutional validity of an act, there is a presumption that the act has been validly enacted. So therefore, there is every difficulty for anybody, whosoever is challenging an act. So there is a very limited scope for interference unless and until it could be shown that it is infraction or contradictory to the constitutional mandate or provision. An act which is validly enacted cannot be struck down. There is very, very little scope for interference
so
of the
it's
court.
more of a political messaging, rather. Maybe still the opposition continues to mislead the people of the country, so you feel, just to send a political message. That's why they are moving the court, so you feel.
I beg your pardon, I could not hear you.
You feel it's more
sorry.
of a political messaging that is being done by the opposition parties?
Political, I'm sorry?
Political messaging.
Your voice is...
Sir, can you hear me, sir? I'm just saying that the protests, of course, is a right for every party. Protests on the streets is also a call that has been given by many Muslim groups. But moving the court is something you're saying has very limited scope. So you mean that there is not a lot of success that could be in store for these parties?
Absolutely very less chance of success. And we are a democratic country, the most populous country in the world. The population of over 140 crores. So people, the political parties are bound to have a large number of people on the streets in the name of opposition. But ultimately, enacting a legislation which is good for the people of this country ultimately, the parliament is the voice of 140 crores people or
Right.
population of this country.
Right, sir.
And whatever decision is taken, it is taken for and on behalf of the people of this country. The decision has been taken, whether it is valid, invalid, ultimately let them challenge. But I hope, I wish, I would suggest that
Right.
there is no, in my opinion, there is no chance of succeeding in such challenge.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, Senior Advocate Subhash Jha, giving us insights and expert view on that story. We will now shift our focus to the other story. This is, of course, the Judge Cash scandal now that we are again getting an update on. Now, Justice Yashwant Varma facing a Supreme Court monitored inquiry already after the discovery of a huge amount of cash at his residence, took oath as a judge of the Allahabad High Court on a Saturday in a low-key private setting. However, Justice Varma will not be assigned any duty, that is what we know, until any judicial work, until the in-house inquiry against him is underway. After Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court, Justice Varma is the 6th in seniority, and unlike the normal public oath-taking ceremonies typically held for judges, Justice Varma took his oath in a private chamber. So let us now take you through the process that we are talking about here, viewers. The process when the judge is administered the oath. Now, what happens is that as per the process, the CJI initiates and decides a judge's transfer. In this case, the go-ahead was given. Despite many protests by the bar associations, the Chief Justice of India, Justice Sanjeev Khanna, gave the go-ahead. Then central government also notified the transfer, as we saw in this case. Notification came in. And then the President also approved. Justice Department informed the High Court Chief Justice. And now, High Court Chief Justice verifies documents, informs the Chief Minister. And this is the part that that is in focus now. The governor administers the oath to the High Court judge after the Chief Minister, of course, is informed of that. Now, this time what we understand is that this was a private setting where the oath had taken place. And we have, in fact, Mr. D.K. Jain, who is the Madhya Pradesh High Court Bar Association President, joining us. Mr. Jain, how do you see this development? There's a massive it's a big allegation, and we've not heard of this before, that a judge is administered oath in private.
मैं दो बातें मुख्य रूप से कहना चाहता हूं। इसके पहले भी जस्टिस वर्मा साहब ने ओथ ली थी और पब्लिक की नजर में वो बेईमान साबित हो गए। तो ऐसी स्थिति में दोबारा सुप्रीम कोर्ट उनको ओथ दिलाकर ये ओथ का अपमान कर रहा है। ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जवाबदारी थी कि जब तक वो क्लीन चिट नहीं मिलती उनको, तब तक उनको दोबारा ओथ दिलाने की आवश्यकता नहीं थी। ये इसमें प्रमाणित होता है कि लोग झूठी ओथ लेते हैं और ओथ का अपमान करते हैं। दूसरी बात, जांच एजेंसियों को क्यों नहीं फेस करना चाहते? जब आम जनता के लिए वो जांच एजेंसी होती है जिनके ऊपर आप निर्णय लेते हैं, तो ये मानते हैं कि हम आम जनता, ये उस कानून को नहीं मानते हैं, ये मानते हैं कि मुझसे ऊपर है। आखिर जजमेंट तो इनको ही करना था, चाहते थे अपने एक जज के सुपरविजन में, इनके डायरेक्शन में जांच हो सकती थी, लेकिन ये ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे हैं। तो ये भी कहीं ना कहीं दाल में काला है। ऐसा लगता है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट जानबूझकर अपने आप को करने के लिए कि हम लोग इनसे ऊपर हैं और ये गलत मैसेज जनता के बीच में दे रहे हो, फिर इस सबको करती हुए गुपचुप रूप से इन्होंने वोट दिला दी। वोट कोई ऐसी छुपी थोड़ी वोट होती है कि चुपचाप गए और चोर की भांति गए और वोट ले ली। एक जज का एक ओहदा होता है, एक बार एसोसिएशन के सामने हम उसके बारे में बोलते हैं तो आपको डर लग रहा था कि आपके बारे में क्या बोलेगी पब्लिक, आपके बारे में पब्लिक की फेथ क्या आएगी। तो आपने ये जो चुपचाप से वोट दी है, ये बहुत गलत, ये पब्लिक का मान है, संविधान का।
जी, Mr. D.K. Jain, thanks so much for joining us with your thoughts on that story, viewers. So clearly we see that the High Court Bar Association of Madhya Pradesh also not very happy with that. Now we shift our focus to Karnataka, where a political storm is now brewing after the shocking death of a BJP worker in Bengaluru. Now, what began as an FIR over a social media post has now spiraled into a full-blown war of words between the ruling Congress and the opposition BJP. Now, with the protests erupting and the suicide note pointing fingers at the some powerful names from the Congress, now the ruling Congress government finds itself cornered. This is not just about one death, viewers. It's about the allegations of political vendetta, police misuse, and a system that may have failed one of its own.
Vinay Somaya, a 35-year-old BJP worker from Madikeri, was found hanging inside his office in Bengaluru. A death that has rocked Karnataka and sent shockwaves through its political landscape. Massive protests have erupted as BJP workers squarely blame the Congress-led government for driving Vinay to suicide. His final words in a chilling suicide note expose the relentless political persecution he endured at the hands of those in power. Vinay, a native of Somwarpet in Kodagu, was the admin of a WhatsApp group called Kodagena Samasagelu. One controversial post critical of Chief Minister Siddaramaya's legal advisor, A.S. Ponnanna, was all it took to unleash a political witch hunt. Despite not being the author of the post, Vinay was booked, arrested, and named as accused number 3 simply for being the group's admin. Even after being granted bail and securing a court stay, Vinay said that the harassment continued non-stop. He feared being falsely branded a rowdy sheeter and accused powerful Congress leaders of orchestrating a campaign to destroy him. In his final message, Vinay called on BJP leaders to protect his family and slammed the Congress government for abusing police power to silence voices. He exposed a system where FIRs are no longer legal instruments but political weapons to target opponents. A system that he claimed had become a tool of vendetta in the hands of Congress.
Vinay Somaya was very active. He and his team always raised issues pertaining to development, failure of local MLAs. When he raised the issue, subsequently, due to the pressure of local MLAs, FIR was registered against Vinay Somaya.
As protests grow louder in Kodagu, BJP leaders have demanded a fresh FIR and full accountability. But in a shocking crackdown, the Siddaramaya government detained protesters led by Karnataka BJP President B.Y. Vijayendra. Instead of showing empathy, the Chief Minister dismissed the protests as mere political drama.
ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, this already FIR is filed, case is registered and investigation is going on. At this stage, I do not want to interfere with the case.
CM Siddaramaya claimed that BJP is politicizing a tragedy and maintained that a probe is underway. But his vague assurances have only added fuel to the fire with no clarity on political accountability. Meanwhile, Congress MLA and CM's legal advisor A.S. Ponnanna, the man named in the suicide note, has outright denied all allegations.
ಅವರ ನೈತಿಕತೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡೋಂಥದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಪಾಪ ವಿನಯ್ ಅವರ ಏನಿವತ್ತು ಘಟನೆ ನಡೆದಿದೆ, ಇದು ನಡಿಬಾರ್ದಿತ್ತು. ಆದರೆ ವಾಸ್ತವವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ವಾಸ್ತವ ಏನು? ಫೆಬ್ರವರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕೇಸ್ ದಾಖಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಅದು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವರು ದಾಖಲು ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
Ponnanna washed his hands off the case, saying he never knew Vinay and that the police acted independently. He blamed the BJP for losing moral ground and offered no explanation for why Vinay feared political harassment despite a court stay. As the Siddaramaya government attempts damage control, questions are mounting on the misuse of the state machinery. Was Vinay Somaya just another name crushed under political vendetta? Or is this the tipping point of public anger in Karnataka?
The border security force foiled an infiltration bid by gunning down a Pakistani intruder along the border in the Ranbir Singh Pura sector of Jammu district. Now, as per official word, BSF personnel observed suspicious movement across the border in the Jammu sector. Now, also, the BSF has launched a strong protest as it held a flag meeting with the Pakistan Rangers. For more on this, I am being joined by my colleague Gursimran Singh from Jammu. Gursimran, tell us more details, please.
See, it's the Pakistan that is hell-bent to disrupt peace and tranquility along the line of control as well as on the international border. This time it was in the IB, in the Araspura sector's Abdullia area, where the Pakistani intruder tried to enter the Indian territory, taking the advantage of the dense darkness of night, roughly around 11:30 to 12 in the late night. But it was the BSF troops that reacted to the Pakistan suspicious movement, and they brought down this Pakistani intruder. Though after the incident, a strong protest note was lodged with the Pakistan during a flag meeting that was held this afternoon in the Abdullian area of Araspura. But what we are picking, that the Pakistan has denied to take back its citizen, stating that it is not his citizen, and the Pakistan has now refused, because Pakistan has always been in a denial mode when it comes to the proxies it sends to Jammu and Kashmir to disrupt the peace. Now the BSF has taken up the issue with the Jammu and Kashmir police that will follow all the final rights of the individual of the suspect, and an FIR has been registered by the Araspura police station in the Foreigners Act. That means that he has illegally crossed over to the Indian side and was shot dead by the BSF. But this comes at a time when the Union Home Minister Amit Shah is coming to Jammu and Kashmir tomorrow on a 3-day visit. Rakshita.
Thank you so much, Gursimran Singh, for joining us with those details coming in on that story. We shift our focus, viewers, to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Sri Lanka visit. It's a 3-day official visit of the Prime Minister, and he becomes the first foreign leader to visit the island nation since President Anurag Kumar Dissanayake took power. Now, the two leaders in the company of India's Foreign Secretary Vikrant Misri has signed a slew of MOUs between India and Sri Lanka, ranging from trade, digitization and defense. But in fact, viewers, what's important is that this was a very rare welcome for the Indian Prime Minister. So it was a warm and zealous welcome for the Indian Prime Minister. Here's more in this report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Colombo for a 3-day visit, focused on signing key agreements between the two countries. Earlier in the day, PM Modi received a ceremonial welcome at the Independence Square from the Sri Lankan President Anura Kumara Dissanayake. Following PM Modi and President Dissanayake held a high-level delegation talk. The two countries exchanged a total of 7 MOUs, focusing on digital infrastructure, defense, energy, health and trade sectors.
महान तमिल संत थिरुवल्लुवर की बात याद आ रही है। उन्होंने कहा था, शेयर करिए याबुल नटपिण आदुपुल वेणेक्करिए याबुल कापू, अर्थात चुनौतियों और शत्रुओं के विरुद्ध एक सच्चे मित्र और उसकी मित्रता की ढाल से बढ़कर और क्या सुरक्षा हो सकती है।
After the crucial meeting, Prime Minister was conferred with Sri Lanka's highest civilian honor, Mitra Vibhushana Award from Sri Lanka. Expressing gratitude, PM Modi said that this award symbolizes the deep-rooted friendship and historic ties between India and Sri Lanka.
यह सम्मान केवल मेरा सम्मान नहीं, बल्कि यह 140 करोड़ भारतीयों का सम्मान है। यह भारत और श्रीलंका के लोगों के बीच ऐतिहासिक संबंधों और गहरी मित्रता का सम्मान है। इस सम्मान के लिए मैं राष्ट्रपति जी का, श्रीलंका सरकार और यहाँ के लोगों का हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ।
During his address, PM Modi raised several serious questions, including issue of fishermen. PM Modi also sought immediate release of Tamil Nadu fishermen and return of their boats.
This was, as I said, a subject that was discussed in considerable detail between the two sides. It is something that has remained a constant feature of discussions at all levels, including the highest levels between the two sides. As the Prime Minister said himself during his remarks, there was emphasis on the need to adopt a humanitarian and constructive approach to cooperation on these issues, because these are ultimately issues that impact the livelihood of fishermen on both sides.
After concluding his Sri Lanka visit, PM Modi will head to Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu, where he will inaugurate India's first vertical bridge and also dedicate other projects on April 6th.
So after Sri Lanka, Prime Minister Modi is all set to visit Tamil Nadu on the 6th of April, that is tomorrow. And during this visit, of course, there are going to be celebrations of Ram Navami. And on this very occasion, is going to inaugurate a slew of key projects. Now, this includes the mega project of new Pamban rail bridge. He will be flagging off the Rameshwaram-Tambaram train service as well. The new Pamban bridge is India's first vertical lift sea bridge. It's an engineering marvel. It's India's first. Here's more on this report. We'll leave you with more on this, viewers. Thanks for watching.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Tamil Nadu on the 6th of April after wrapping up his ongoing visit to Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister will inaugurate a slew of much-awaited projects, including the new Pamban rail bridge, and will also flag off the Rameshwaram-Tambaram train service.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to come to Rameshwaram tomorrow to open the Pamban railway bridge. The new vertical lift bridge will be starting with commencation tomorrow. Here we can see the preparations with Modi's arrival tomorrow. So right now we have the helipad here where Modi's helicopter will be landing, and here a rehearsal with the police will be taking place in a few more minutes, where you can see the convoy is all set ready. So the rehearsal practices will be going on to make sure there are no security breaches or there are no other issues when Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Rameshwaram tomorrow.
The new Pamban bridge is the first ever vertical lift sea bridge in India and will replace the old bridge which closed down in 2022 over corrosion problems.
This newly constructed Pamban Bridge is the India's first vertical lift railway bridge. Starting building from 2020, this new bridge was built because the old bridge got decorrosion in 2022. The old bridge was built in 1914 and it was the only bridge that connected the mainland to the island of Rameshwaram for almost 105 years.
The new Pamban bridge spans over 2.5 kilometers and has been constructed at a cost of 535 crore rupees by Rail Vikas Nigam Limited. It will also facilitate the smooth movement of ships, ensuring seamless operations.
We can see the test runs are right now going on in this new Pamban bridge, which stretches up to 2.5 kilometers. This new bridge will allow the train to pass in 3 minutes with a maximum of 50 kilometers per hour. However, the drawback is that the train cannot pass through if the wind speed here crosses 58 kilometers per hour. And the new bridge will also be connecting the mainland of India with Rameshwaram.
As per official sources, the bridge is constructed with stainless steel reinforcement, high-grade protective paint and fully welded joints that increase its durability and reduce the maintenance. Republic gets you the first insights into the bridge.
The test runs at the new Pamban Bridge are now underway, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi set to open India's first vertical lift sea bridge tomorrow. He will also be flagging off the Rameshwaram-Tambaram new train service, and the bridge will be he'll also be witnessing the operation of the bridge. The new bridge was built in 2020, and following the corrosion in 2022, the new bridge operations will be resumed from tomorrow.
During the inauguration, the Prime Minister will be accompanied by Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. After the inauguration, the Prime Minister will also offer prayers at the Ramanatha Swami Temple in Rameshwaram.